I want to try something different today. I've been building this Daisy UI kit with VS Code. So generally, I'm using less and less of the B4A IDE. But the issue was, how do I get to have the same experience as I'm having with the IDE from B4X? So created this extension. So what we're going to do is to actually install it. So it's saying it's a comprehensive IDE companion for the B4X family. It provides a complete developer toolkit for Visual Studio Code, including local LSP, backend, and fast workspace indexer with optional pre-built API index. Delivers advanced language features, contextual completions, hover, and go-to definition, and all sorts of other things. So I haven't tested all of the functionalities of this thing, but so far what I wanted to achieve with it has been possible. So we're going to install it, then trust this, and then it's enabled, So what we're going to do is to basically open our B4A project. So I'm going to go to command palette and then type in B4X. So you'll see the commands that have been built into the application itself. Open a B4A project, open documentation, open the B4X website. If you open that, it's going to open the website here. And then let's see, B4X, backup workspace, build and install project, capture GIF from the device, and then capture screenshots, and then import a theme from BA install, and then set BA install folder. So most of these things are picked up from the B4X5 inifat. So I'm going to open a B4A project. Sorry. I'm going to open a B4A project. Open B4A project. Now the project that I'm currently working on is this one here, space, this one. So I'm going to open that particular project, B4A, and then there's my project that I'm working on, that I'm doing the Daisy and Tailwind. So I'm going to restart. And then there's the B4A file that's been opened. So it has loaded everything else from core and XML. And then this is my project here. Now let's close the B4A file. So these are my current project structure files. So as you can see, these are code models. So if you focus on B4X view, for example, okay, now I don't know why that is not working. It's not finished building the index. Well, it's still activating. Okay, activating the extension. There you go. It's still loading. Okay, there we go. B4X view class from the library Xui and all sorts of other things. Then you search online. So what it's going to do is to open to a search of that particular item from the B4X website. So as you can see, the query B4X view and blah 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 B4A. Because this extension is main focus is B4A at this particular moment. So I've just concentrated on it. So this is Xui. So it shows non-modal message boxes, blah blah blah. Let me see if there's something on float. There's nothing. Okay, cool. But let's do this. B4X canvas, do you have something for it? Okay, cool. Can search online. But IntelliSense, it's loading. No suggestions. Wonder why. No suggestions. This is interesting. Label. And base. There. M-base, it has functions like add view, alpha, bring to front, and all sorts of other things. But as you can see here, it's a read-write property and all sorts of other things. Now, this is a component. So let's say in terms of the page that it is being used in, this is daisy division. Okay, let's perhaps take another component that is actually used, the chart. So this is going to be on page chart, which is this one. So what I want to demonstrate now is the cross project references, where, for example, you have your class there, daisy chart, you know, because it's part of the project here. Let me see what it does if I do IntelliSense. Yeah. Okay, let me just expand this. Okay, look, there's always no suggestions. It's kind of strange. I'll have to debug this thing. Yeah, it was working when I was testing it. But anyway, let's see. Aha. There's the chart resize. So it's picking up something that is in the bitmap wrapper now. But is this the bitmap wrapper? No, it's my daisy chart thing. So it has not referenced this one here. But let's see what's happening with the list. The list is there. And these are the methods of the list. So I still need to kind of like, okay, it's not building the IntelliSense for the classes. I need to find out what is happening. But anyway, most of what I wanted to do, like for example, your IntelliSense in relation to the core, it's working here. So it basically means that there's just one thing that I currently need to do here. Daytime. Ticks per minute as long. Daytime. I'm sure we're going to get there. But the nice thing about this, what it does is to build the server data based on the library's contents and also based on your shared stuff in your project, because it reads your project file. In your project file, you'll get a list of your libraries. You also get a list of your code modules and things like that. So it goes to the B4A folder, installation folder in libraries, and get details there of the libraries that you've used in your project, and then it will load them into the IDE. So some things that you can see here, you know, if you try and hover in relation to some of the items here, it's able to actually indicate for you what is it that they do. Just hold on. See that one there? It is the daytime class. So it is telling you the class details and then telling you about that method. So there's some things that are actually going to work, I guess, with time. But at least now that I've just installed it for the first time, you know, because I wanted to actually experience it in terms of how it would work if I install it and then see how it works. So now I know that the class references in relation to the internal ones, they are not necessarily working, which is something that I'm going to have to look at. But most of what I wanted to achieve with this is there. So we hover, we're able to get what stuff is, like some of these keywords are not working. Did I say something like sub? What? Did it say something? Oh, they sub. Oh, okay, it's class and all sorts of other things. Because when I was developing my project, I wanted to like have IntelliSense for my classes here, you know? Yeah, because most of the time I'm using VS Code to do this, because I'm basically using AI to create this UI kit. I mean, I wouldn't do this thing even if I wanted to without AI. So I need to kind of like find a way to say these ones that are referencing other class modules that are here are loaded. So I think that's the only thing that seems to be an issue here, because look, the panel is here because this is coming from core. and click there. You have your IntelliSense, and then maybe let's do this. Let me see. Panel figure dot bring to front. It's suggesting something for me. And I'm not sure whether there's AI that's working there or not, but I thought, okay, like really, okay, I still need to find out how this thing works, but at least now I know PLG figure. So let's just say this is just part one of this thing. If you have been noticing here, it's doing auto backup, because what I was like thinking in terms of if I need to make changes into my code, can it basically autosave? So that's what is happening behind the scene. So I need to find out whether this is becoming successful or not, because there is the argument there, but something is not happening right because it's failing. So I need to find out, because it's executing a PowerShell script. So it's taking the settings from the ini file and then using those settings here, you know. Let me see what's going on here. Oh, for whatever reason, this started working. Okay, this is taking some time to work, but add view. There we go. Let me try again. Panel figure. Oh, okay, cool. Checked color and all sorts of other things. Let's get all recursive. So part of it seems to be working, but it's a little bit wahapiki. But at least I'm excited that it works. So it just means that after a couple of try, I need to actually like try it out. But it's kind of nice to see that it's actually doing something. Let me see. There's a variance. It's not referencing. It's not referencing exactly what I wanted to achieve with this thing. Data variance is a code model. So it's not doing that, because that's one of the things that I just need to sort to say that I don't have to move from VS Code to B4A when I'm working with this, you know. Okay, let me try something else. View command palette B4X. Let's see if this thing can actually install my project, build and install project. Let's see what's going to happen. The argument install to the file does not exist. Provide the path to an existing PS1 file. Okay, now I know that the PowerShell scripts is not working. So I'll just note these things down, because I didn't test an installed like extension. I was just like, let me do that with you guys and see how is it going to work. So this is not part of the project. Okay, cool. I'm going to have to run that. Document backup does not exist. Okay, so our PowerShell scripts are not existing. Now I know. The thing is, when I was debugging this, it was doing everything, you know. But perhaps what I can do is just open my project and then we see how everything works. Let's see. Maybe I thought things were working, but maybe they're not. Okay. So this is the code of the Daisy UI kit. As I'm saying, I'm doing most of it in Visual Studio. And I've written some scripts there. Page avatar, you know, you can imagine my excitement finding that this thing is working. And the thing is, the good thing about it is that due to the fact that you put a library, you put a shared folder, your shared code model, you put an XML, you put a B4X lib on your additional folders and things like that, it will pick it up automatically, because I coded it in such a way that you don't necessarily have to kind of like refresh, what it does is to run a watcher. There's a watcher that runs there in terms of detecting which files are changed and things like that. So it will detect that you have changed your additional libraries or your shared code modules, and then it will actually load the IntelliSense files and things. So now I know what to do. That I need. Wait, what? That's list. Oh, okay, cool. This is. I need to remove this Copilot thing here. Okay, B4X Daisy avatar, which is, yeah, it's not loaded internally. So I need to find out why that is the case. But all in all, this has been a very interesting project to do. But this is my first attempt in relation to doing an extension in Visual Studio Code. So it's quite interesting. I didn't even know, that the manifest content is actually in the B4A file. But there, until I open this thing, wow. Yeah. So there's the modules that are there, and then the code for that. But you see here, this thing is not. Maybe I could be wrong. Let me see. Let me see. Reflex manager. That's strange. But at least the code in main is not doing anything. And then our yoga container, yoga view. Let's see some of these things. There's a list. Then it does have the things that we want. You see, brilliant. Look, what matters is for me is that some of these things are actually working. Root panel is the B4X view. So you can actually see, so you can do the edits that you want. And this is based on actually content from the files themselves. I mean, I'm not keeping a text file here of the classes or the methods or anything like that. It does it automatically by loading the files themselves. So it seems like our internal code modules are not indexed and loaded to IntelliSense. So I need to work on that. But anyway, this is the project here. Let me open it. So let's unbox this. Yeah, actually, when people buy things, then they like say, let's unbox. So let's unbox this. So these are the PowerShell scripts that are not working. Okay, then the extension, where is it? This one is to taking a video. This one is taking for a GIF. What it does is takes the video, then converts the video into GIF, the images. Yeah, it was quite interesting. But anyway, let's do, there's the extension. It's quite a big file. 3000. Yep. So it was quite interesting because, I mean, you see these commands, then you realize that actually this is what happens when you go and do this, So all of these things actually have to be registered as commands, and so that they are actually available in the menu. But, I wish this thing, though, could be more intuitive. Like, for example, you are able to add a toolbar there and menu item so that you can just click a button. This command thing, control what. Yeah, sometimes it's very difficult to do. But anyway, let me stop complaining about things. I mean, what is the second in relation to just going to the editor? So this is what is happening with this extension. There's a couple of other things that it does, that are quite interesting per se. You see the font here is small. but the font here, you know, remember in B4A, what it did is to, actually, I'm going to have to try that and see what happens. In B4A, if you open a project, you are able to go through to project, tools, ID, options, themes. Okay, that's the theme that is dark. But now, if you go to font picker, you see, this is Supercharge Retina and it's 12, which basically means that our extension here, it picked up the font that you are using in B4A and then the size, and then that's why it is like this. But the default font for VS Code is this one. So for our particular project, it's using this particular one. Let me try something else. B4X, let me see if I'm going to be able to import theme. Let's see, I didn't test that. Oh, there they are. Okay. So what happens if I do this one? Import and apply. Let's see. Colors to workspace settings. Okay, look, this is dark, but what's the difference now? This is like brown. I don't know. Let me try again. That one is like brown. Let me do soft to see what's going to happen. Put and apply. Okay, but you get the idea. The idea is to say you can be able to get your settings themes applied also to this one. I'm going to play around with this thing, but yeah, let's do import. What am I using? I think I'm using the dark one. Import and apply. Look, it's saying it's applied, you know. So I'm just going to play around and see how we go in relation to that. But I didn't want to change the color to black here, because what it did was to change the AI prompt too. So I was like, no, let me not do that one. So let's do that. And then what else? But I like the fact that you're able to get your font and get your font size applied to your IDE, you know, because it's like it's giving you the same look and feel in relation to everything else. I'll check the bugs that I'm having here. But what was exciting for me was that I can actually do IntelliSense with this thing and be able to see what's going on. And then what is this style? Yeah, it's a map object. Oh, okay, cool. But it provides all the functions and methods of that particular item there. And then, I mean, you hover, it does give you what the thing is about. Okay, some it doesn't for them, for some. You see edit text there, edit text, single line, and all sorts of other things, you know. So it kind of like, it's something that is there. And I mean, this is an automated content generation kind of a thing. My mind takes a pause from time to time now, so bear with me. So what I'm saying is, it's quite very enjoyable and interesting that it's possible to create such things, you know. I'm just wondering in terms of what other functionalities can something like this be enhanced with, you know. For example, I had written a PowerShell script, for example, one day to just, if I select a block of text and then I say to myself, comment it or uncomment it, and then it works. So I'm going to see whether such kind of a things are possible. Because one of the things that I had realized when I was working with maps was that if I get some content and then it's uppercase, I want to make the map keys lowercase, you know, like quickly without having to write a code to lowercase the keys and stuff like that. So yeah, so this is where we're at this particular moment. So we have our IntelliSense working, we have our our panel, you know, it's trying, you know, but I think there's a little bit of a lag that we have to work with, but at least it's trying to get there. I mean, if you're kind of a patient kind of a person, maybe you just need, you might have to Java object. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, so there is our first extension. It's B4X IDE. And when I was installing this, I saw this one, and I kind of looked at it. It's quite an interesting extension also. I mean, it does the same kind of things that this one is doing, but it's limited in terms of the fact that this one has a server. I'm not saying that any one of them are better than the other one. I'm just saying that this one has a server that has an index. There's nothing that is hard-coded into it in relation to the content, you know, of classes, keywords, and all sorts of other things. This one has a lot of stuff that is hard-coded in it. And then it's also using regex, you know, to search for things. Like, for example, if you are here in that particular line, then it uses regex to actually search for whatever. This is not doing that. Yeah, but there's quite a few things that I learned from it when I looked at it a couple of hours ago. But yeah, so this is it. It's going to help me to actually achieve more, because at the end of the day, I don't have to go to the B4 IDE and back here when I want to change things. Because currently what happens is when I'm developing the kit, sometimes an error happens and then I run it here. I can't access the logs. As much as I'm able to code this to say access the logs and things like that, but B4A has nicer logs in terms of pinpointing exactly where the issue is. So that thing that was the most case that I used, but in most of the cases I would just want IntelliSense to just see that my class, which I've written here, when it's referenced by a page, then I'm able to see, by the way, what does this daisy variance get token color do, kind of a thing? So at least with this now, when I'm able to fix this particular bug, what's saying no transitions now, then I'll be able to figure out about what was wrong, and then be able to fix it up. But you can test it, play along with it, and then you can indicate to me what you like about it, what you think can be done better, what you don't like about it, and stuff like that. I mean, sometimes constructive criticism is better, you know. But yeah, so here we are, my first extension. It has been quite a journey. And what I've learned about this, yes, as much as I'm using artificial intelligence to build that extension, you need to have coding skills, you know. If you're coding an extension, VS Code extension, you need to understand how the extensions work. You need to understand how the intricacies of it works, because, you know, coding with AI is fine, well and good. At this particular moment, it's fine, it's well and good. But the times when you actually take longer just to debug something, you know, because the AI is making, is hallucinating, you know. As a result, you take longer to finish the work. If you knew what you wanted to do properly and all sorts of other things, I mean, you would work faster, you know. But the nice thing is, at the end of the day, the AI, it boosts your productivity. But for coding, I don't think it's something that one can just take for granted, that, you know what, I'm going to do everything with my AI and it's going to produce the results that I want. You're going to struggle, you know, because the minute is not able to figure out what is it that you want, the importance of how to prompt it and all sorts of other things, then you are in very big trouble. Like, you can take an hour or so just to debug one simple functionality that is not working, you know? And the thing is, it will do something wrong. So you need to just give it rules. You need to update everything about it. But my favorite, um, my favorite is GPT 5.4 right now. You know, I've tried the other ones. I've installed Olama on my PC and I used that one, but it was a little bit slow because my laptop is like an i5, so it's pretty slow. And then my favorite before 5.4, it was 5.3. And then the best so far that I've used is Opus, but as you can see there, it's 3 units. And then I move between Opus and Sonnet, you know, because I like the fact that they're able to reason stuff out and they're able to actually, they deliver like in a very good way for me. And it's the best that I use. And then 5.3, okay, I think probably I moved it. 5.3, the codex has helped me a great deal. I'm struggling with Gemini. I'm struggling so much to make it do what is that I want. I've tried, make it do what I want. The best thing that I'm using for currently is Notebook LMM. That is the best thing, you see. So I just come here, I give it something. Like, for example, these are the stuff that I've been posting on the forum. So I come here, I upload the video, I give it the source code, the source code for that particular file, and then I give it the page code after I finish testing. And then what I do is to give it this particular prompt. And then what this does is generate these two things here. This is the video that I post on YouTube. This one, it's more detailed in terms of how the thing works, but it just generates all of these things that I want. There's the audio overview for the podcast. There's the YouTube thing for Meta. And then there's the BX forum. So I do create a thread and post the stuff there in the forum. Yeah. And the thing is, I thought about just putting something, all of it in one place. But the thing is, that some things get lost in translation, So there it is, the first extension, and it's quite impressive for me in relation to what I've been able to achieve with it. There's the server. It indexes all the XML and B4X files that are in the libraries and HTML libraries folder. And then there's the source of it, and then some other things. There's the VX that I uploaded, So yeah, all the best. Try it out. It's on the it's on the marketplace. And then, yeah, cool. Bye. Thank you. Come on.